Welcome back, bullet journal sweeties. It is new journal setup time, so I am packing up my first half of the year journal and putting it away, and I'm pulling out this new one. This is my first Archer and Olive journal. I'm really excited to test it out, so stay tuned if you want to know what I think of it. Hit subscribe and stick around. This is the April Showers journal, which is super pretty and really appropriate for my city since it's been raining non-stop all year. I'm just going to pop another journal down behind it. This is my Quirky Cup Collective diary, because this happens at the beginning and at the end of a new journal, so I like to just balance it out so that left page doesn't sit kind of funny. There are video chapters down below, so if a grid spacing page is not your jam and you want to skip straight to the aesthetic things, do go and hit the chapters down below so you can get straight to it. But the first thing I like to put in any notebook is a grid spacing page, partly because the first page always ends up a little bit weird and funky. I just always feel like it doesn't sit flush with the rest of the book, so I like using it for this purpose because it's not that visible unless I want it to be. And in case you're not familiar with the concept of a grid spacing page, this is where you measure out all those really common page divisions that you might need to use regularly so that you don't have to count the spaces every time you go to set up a new spread. So I like to number all the spaces top to bottom and left to right. I like to find the very center of the page, and I also like to divide it into halves, into thirds, and then also into quarters, and color code those with some paint pens because why the heck not, right? So say in July I want to set up a weekly spread that has 2 columns of 4 boxes each, then I can just quickly turn to this page, see very quickly on the horizontal how many spaces I need to divide into 2, on the vertical how many spaces I need to divide into 4, and then I can go ahead and set up my spread without having to do any counting or math, and I really enjoy that. Now we get to move on to the fun stuff. So this first one is a future log just for 6 months because that's how much of the year is left, and we will do a nice fresh one for 2023 when we get there, of course. I'm dividing mine into these little bubbles, and I can't really tell you why I did this. I actually almost kind of wish that I didn't. After I set up some other pages later, it would have made more sense to leave some more negative space, I think, but I didn't, and so we're going to go with it. You see how these boxes are a little bit wonky? That's because the month numbers are going to go on alternate sides for each month. So July will go on the left side, and then August will go on the right, and so on and so forth, all the way down. If you'd like to know what any of the equipment that I'm using in this video is at any time, jump into the description box. There are links to everything there that you could possibly need to recreate this, as well as a link to a blog post that has some more detailed photos in it that you can see as well, and also all of the discount codes that I have with all of my wonderful affiliates. So if you'd like to get some money off those purchases, do check there before you go ahead and hit purchase, because I might be able to save you some money. Thankfully, only doing 6 months worth of hand numbering these months is a lot easier than doing the full year's worth, so your hand won't get quite as tired at the end of it. But let me give your eyes a little break here, and I'll just make the rest of these numbers magically appear. Evidently, I am nothing if not a creature of habit, because I have been reaching for these washi tape stickers constantly since I got them. This is the Delicate Flowers and Wreaths washi tape sticker set from the Washi Tape Shop. It is phenomenal. These tiny little stickers are just the perfect minimal decoration for a spread that you want to keep quite simple, but you just want to give it a little bit of something something. This is like the 5th time that I've used them. I swear they're so good. But any other kind of tiny floral sticker would also work in this situation. I think I've come to the conclusion that I just prefer tiny stickers. They are just the way for me. on now to my goals page. I am keeping some of my trackers that are things for the whole year in my previous notebook, things like my social media tracker, my cash flow tracker, my reading tracker, all of that stuff is going to stay in my other book and I'll just keep updating it in my old one. But the goals section is something that I'm bringing with me because I like to think that this mid-year kind of goal post is a good time to reassess your goals, check in with yourself, see if you're achieving them, see if there are any that are no longer relevant that you can strike from your list, see if you're on track to achieve some of them or if you already have. So the goals page is one that's coming with us, and I'm going to just add a little stamped goals heading at the top here. For some reason, I don't know, I just wasn't thinking and I stamped the G upside down. So I'm using a white Posca paint pen to try and fix that up. It isn't perfect, but you know what? I actually don't care. It's totally fine. I stamped over the top of it the right way. You can clearly read what it's supposed to say, so we'll just live with it and carry on with our lives. Because there are bigger goals to kick than perfectly covering a mistake in my bullet journal. If it's your first time here on my channel, I hope you're enjoying planning with me, and if you are, then I would encourage you to jump down just below this video, hit the subscribe button and stick around because there is plenty more bullet journal content coming your way in the coming months. I pop up new videos every Monday Australian time, so if you'd like to follow along with my bullet journaling journey and get some ideas for your own journal and planning, then do come along for the ride. I'd love to have you join my little family. We're a growing family, and we'll be all the better if you join us. Now that the goals page is all sorted, we're going to turn the page and move on to my next spread. This one is also going to have a calendar setup, although it's not a future log. This one is going to be my content planner. This is my first time including a content planner in my bullet journal for anything that's longer than a month. I do usually plan out my social media content for my YouTube videos and my Instagram and my other businesses stuff as well, a month at a time within my monthly bullet journal pages, but I thought it would be cool to have something a bit more long-term going on. Whether or not I use it and keep up with it remains to be seen, but if I do like having this in my journal, then I will bring it forward with me into 2023 and we'll do a full year setup rather than just 6 months like this one. But you know, there's only 6 months of the year left, so you know, it makes sense to only do 6 months for now. And I'm gonna need a little bit more space than I had on the previous calendar page, so I've spread it over 2 pages and I've left quite a bit of room for planning because I want to make sure that I'm covering my bases for all of the accounts that I need to stay on top of. Now, please don't judge me for the mistake I'm about to make. I do this quite often when I'm hand lettering, where I will spell out a word backwards to make sure that I can center it quite well, but I was writing content and I forgot the first T. So maybe it's not the best idea to do that when you're stamping your letters rather than writing them like in a hand lettering, brush lettering kind of way. So lesson learned, I should pay more attention. It's okay, once again, white Posca paint pen to the rescue, and I'm just gonna stamp over it and we're gonna move on with our lives because it's not worth worrying about, honestly. It's just a couple of letters on a page. In the grand scheme of things, they really don't matter all that much, so do not let your mistakes define you, and I will also not let my mistakes define me. Hey, speaking of content, are you following me on Instagram? How did you like that segue? I thought that was pretty smooth. I am at erinsmith.art on Instagram, and I had a couple of reels blow up lately. People seem to really like them, so that's really nice. Maybe you will too. Come and follow along and let's hang out on Instagram. I like it. Sometimes I go live there and set things up that I forgot to include in my Plan With Me setup, so come and hang out. We're turning the page again and moving on to the last couple of pages for this setup. This one on the left here that I'm doing the border for now is a new one for me. I'm calling it When Did I Last? And I think I've seen a few other people also call it the same thing. Basically, it's like a habit tracker for tasks that you don't do as often as the things that you would include in a month-to-month habit tracker. So things like, for me, when did I last clean out the fridge? When did I last give the cat his flea treatment? When did I last declutter my wardrobe? Or things like that, you know, so stuff that you might do every couple of weeks, stuff that you might do every couple of months, stuff that you might only do once or twice a year. But having a written place to refer to check when the last time you did something could be really helpful. I'm saying that theoretically because I haven't tried it yet, but we're gonna find out together. And the way this will work is each time I complete one of these items, I will just open up the book, pop down the date that I did the thing, and then the next time I'm like, I wonder when I last changed my sheets. I hope it was recently. Then I can grab this page in my book and check and be like, yes, it's time to change my sheets again. Or no, we're good. I only did it yesterday. I mean, presumably I would remember, but you know, you get the idea. This one is going to be the very last page for this particular new journal setup. Because it is a new journal from a company that I haven't used before, I really want to make sure I've got a pen swatch page in here just to test out how my pens look on this paper. My last book had slightly yellowy parchmenty kind of pages, which is very pretty and romantic. This one has bright white, which means I think the colors are going to show up a little bit more true to life. But I want to see how they perform. So I'm swatching all of my pens on this page. I've got all of my Tombow dual tip brush markers on the left column here, and I'm just swatching the brush end and writing with the bullet end what the number is so I can refer to that because they don't always match their caps. I've got my Monami Color Twin brushes as well, my Artistro brush tip paint pens, and on the right side I'll swatch all of my Faber-Castell Pitt pens. Some of them are brush pens, some of them are not, and also my Peter Pauper Press acrylic paint pens, which is very difficult to say. That's a tongue twister right there. And with that, we are all set for the second half of 2022. Thank you so much for planning with me. I hope you enjoyed this little flip through, looking back through everything that we've just set up together. And I hope that you've enjoyed the video as well. And if you have, please don't forget to hit the like button down below and leave me a comment and let me know your favorite color. I'm very curious. I seem to be having a purple moment at the moment. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to catch you again in another video very soon. Bye.